Welcome to the World Wire Update YT. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon for more updates and thrilling short scenes. In the summer of 2025, the United States, led by President Donald Trump, shocked the world by imposing sweeping new tariffs on goods from the BRICS nations: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and their new members. The White House claimed these tariffs would protect American jobs and reduce the trade deficit, arguing that other nations had long exploited America's open markets. These weren't minor tweaks. China faced tariffs up to 145%, India up to 50%, and Brazil and South Africa were hit hard as well. Even neutral Switzerland was slapped with a 39% tariff, signaling that no country was exempt from this new America First policy. The administration used the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, bypassing Congress to act quickly and decisively. The goal forced countries to the negotiating table and create reciprocal trade, matching tariffs dollar for dollar. This was more than just economic policy. It was a bold move to reassert American dominance and rewrite the rules of global trade. The message was clear. The U.S. would use its economic might to demand change, targeting not just BRICS, but the entire world. The global economic system, the administration argued, had become unbalanced, favoring emerging economies at the expense of American industry. By imposing these tariffs, the U.S. aimed to reset the global order, one country at a time. The stage was set for a major confrontation. Instead of dividing the BRICS nations, the U.S. tariffs united them like never before. In September 2025, BRICS leaders held an emergency summit, condemning the tariffs as economic aggression and vowing a coordinated response. Brazilian President Lula accused the U.S. of tariff blackmail, while South Africa's Ramaphosa warned that unilateral actions threatened decades of development. China's Xi Jinping called for a rejection of protectionism and reaffirmed support for the World Trade Organization. Russia's Putin denounced America's bullying behavior. The summit produced a rare alignment among these diverse leaders, who pledged joint action, retaliatory tariffs, WTO complaints, and closer economic cooperation. The shared threat accelerated long-term plans for deeper integration. The U.S. strategy had backfired, forging a stronger, more determined BRICS bloc. The tariff war had lit a fire under the coalition, pushing them to act as one. The U.S. tariff strategy triggered a rapid push by BRICS nations to reduce their reliance on the dollar. For decades, the dollar's dominance gave America immense power, but weaponizing tariffs and sanctions made other countries nervous. BRICS nations began trading more in their own currencies. Over 90% of Russia-China trade now bypasses the dollar, and similar deals are spreading across the bloc. While a single BRICS currency isn't imminent, they're building a parallel financial system to avoid the U.S. altogether. Central banks in BRICS countries have become the world's top gold buyers, diversifying away from the dollar and signaling a lack of faith in its long-term stability. Gold, seen as a neutral asset, is now a cornerstone of their strategy. This isn't just about tariffs, it's about shifting global economic power. BRICS, now nearly 40% of global output, argue the financial system shouldn't be dominated by one currency or country. Every transaction outside the dollar system chips away at its dominance. The world is moving, step by step, toward a more multipolar financial order. The dollar's reign is no longer unchallenged. The tariff war, meant to protect American jobs, is hitting U.S. families hard. Tariffs are taxes on imports, and businesses pass those costs to consumers, raising prices on everything from groceries to cars. In August 2025, the Consumer Price Index jumped, with food, vehicles, and airfare all costing more. A Yale study warns that if tariffs persist, nearly 1 million Americans, many of them children, could fall into poverty by 2026. Low-income families who spend more on essentials are hit the hardest. While tariffs bring in billions for the government, that money comes straight from consumers' pockets. The policy intended to restore prosperity is causing real pain for the most vulnerable. The big question: will the benefits ever outweigh the costs? The tariff policy has sparked fierce legal and political battles at home. Critics say the president overstepped by using emergency powers to bypass Congress, and the Supreme Court is set to decide the issue. If the tariffs are ruled illegal, the government could owe billions in refunds, threatening fiscal stability. This uncertainty is rattling Washington and Wall Street alike. Markets hate unpredictability, and the looming court case has investors bracing for volatility. Companies reliant on global supply chains are pausing investments, unsure if tariffs are here to stay. Even iconic brands like Swatch are raising prices and poking fun at the chaos. The trade war isn't just foreign policy, it's a domestic crisis shaking America's legal and economic foundations. America's aggressive tariffs are redrawing the global map, pushing old partners away and forging new alliances. India, once a key US partner, is now pivoting toward China and Russia after being hit with steep tariffs. The shared pressure has led to historic trilateral talks and a thaw in India-China relations. BRICS nations are building a new economic ecosystem, discussing a Buy BRICS campaign, a grain exchange, and even a massive free trade agreement. Meanwhile, the US is courting traditional allies like Japan and South Korea, offering tariff relief for investment. The world is dividing into rival economic blocs, the US and its allies on one side, a unified BRICS on the other. The era of open global trade is giving way to fierce competition and fragmented markets. Trade and economics are now the primary weapons in a new great power rivalry. The global order is shifting, fast. Alliances are being rewritten in real time. The US-BRICS trade war is more than a tariff dispute. It's a challenge to the economic order of the past 80 years. The dollar's dominance, once America's greatest strength, is now under threat as the world seeks alternatives. If the conflict continues, the globe could split into competing blocs, one led by the US and the dollar, the other by BRICS and their own currencies. Global trade would become more complex and less efficient, slowing growth for everyone. For America, a weaker dollar means higher borrowing costs and less global influence. The privileges of dollar dominance could erode, forcing a tough adjustment at home. The rise of BRICS signals a new multipolar world where power is shared, not concentrated. The tariff war of 2025 may be remembered as the turning point, the end of the dollar's unchallenged reign. The future will be defined by competition, cooperation, and uncertainty on a global scale.